Okay, for our next phase of layering, I'm going to go to a 4B pencil and I'm going to continue using my white colored pencil. The first thing I'm going to do is start on the neck here, and you can see how much darker this is. So again, still cross-hatching. Really mostly doing hatch marks. We're kind of making X's as we go. You can even, instead of making this just a straight line, you can do little hatch marks like this, and then do some long ones. And that makes the line a little bit more blurry in a way, which makes it a little bit more real, rather than just drawing a straight line. For this part here, you can put a little more pressure. So cross-hatching, layering the pencil marks. Remember, this piece here is a little bit lighter, so on the front part. So when I go over this part, I just do hatch marks. I really don't cross-hatch it. And I cross-hatch the back. So crisscrossing to make it darker. And right through here, it gets a little bit darker. And then it's kind of darker out in the middle here. Okay, and then I'll darken up this area here. And what I want to do is overlap the edge that I drew out earlier, so you don't see those drawn in lines. So you can see I'm just overlapping it a little bit. And I'll darken the little shine on it. There's a little bit of a highlight going across right here. I'll darken that a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll cross-hatch the other parts around it. So you get a little bit of a highlight there. Okay, you want to pay attention to the direction of the feathers, and you'll make your hatch marks in that direction. So going down from this triangular shape, the feathers kind of drop down, and you'll have, we have a few highlighted feathers going over the top here. But on the back here, they go down the back. So just doing the hatch marks down the back. We got a dark piece here. Okay, I want to draw some longer lines through the front here. Okay, I'm going to darken the eye. There is a nice dark circle around the eye. There's a border. So I am going to draw that in. Okay, I'm going to switch now to my white. You can see I'm pressing pretty hard as I broke the pencil a little bit there. Okay, what I'm going to do now is a little stylized thing I like to do, and I'm going to draw in a really dark line on the shadow areas. This is something I like to do. It's just the style that I've created for myself, so you can do this if you want to. Some people might not like this look, but what I like to do is really darken the lines that are in shadow. So the front line isn't in shadow, but the back one is. So we'll go and we'll darken up this line as well. Okay, I'm going to feather in just a couple pieces of white into the shadow here. And then down here we've got some really bright feathers going right up. And they overlap right into that triangle there. Okay, and then we have some subtle feathers that are a little bit lighter going over the back here. Kind of some reflected highlight on his back as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to my 4B now, and to make these lines stand out a little bit more, I'm giving them a little bit of a border. I'm going to take my pencil eraser. I've got a few little smudges here that I want to clean up. So in order to not have smudges, you can put a little piece of computer paper under your hand as you do this. I probably should have done that to begin with, but okay, I'm going to draw in a little bit of a darker line there. Darken the beak area up a little bit. Maybe put a little line defining the top. And technically, this white is in shadow. So I'm just adding a little bit of a line there. Okay, next I'm going to go to a 6B pencil. And I'm going to start right up on top here, and you can see another softer graphite pencil here and how much darker you can make it. There's quite a range. I mean, you can go to an 8B. We're not going to do the 8B today. We're going to just keep it at 6. But you can darken quite a bit more to increase that range of values. So it's really, if you watch any of my painting lessons online, which you can check out at timgagnon.com, I've got a great Blue Heron painting lesson that just came out. But if you watch any of my painting lessons, you'll see, especially with acrylic paint, that the more you layer, the better depth and range that you get with your paintings. And the same's true with your drawings as well. Okay, I really want to start darkening this wing up a little bit more. But I want to keep these feathers going over. So we'll just kind of almost scribble back and forth. But I want to create some line for those feathers out front. Okay, and then there's some really kind of dark pieces out in the chest. There's some dark feathers. I'm going to go in with the 6B and darken the eye. I'm going to darken this piece in around the eye as well, on the beak. So with cross hatching and hatching, you can see you can really make your own style, which is really cool. I really like to kind of have a nice stylized look to my drawings. Makes it unique to me. So you can kind of hatch and cross hatch however you like. You can outline, you can remove lines. Okay, and again, want to remove any smudging. Okay, next what I'm going to use is a white ink pen. It's a paint marker basically. And what you do is you shake it up, the felt tip fills up with this white ink, and what I want to do is just really brighten. You don't have to do this, you can keep using the colored pencil, but with this white pen, I'm going to highlight, put a little dot in the eye there for a shine. I'm just going to highlight the brightest spots. So kind of like how I did the dark outline back here. I'm taking this super bright white ink. And highlighting the highlight area with a really bright. The more you layer this pen, the more opaque it is. So if you just go over once, it'll be brighter. So the more you go over it, the more opaque it gets, and the brighter it will get. Okay, another thing you can do with the white pen is create kind of these reflected highlights. So I'm just tapping on the back here through this dark section, and it will fade a little bit, creating a reflected highlight rather than a stark highlight. So again, layering the pen. Getting that front part really, really bright. Highlight on the beak. Okay, one final thing I like to do sometimes is just kind of put some lines on top and bottom to frame it in. You don't have to do that, just if you do, you use a ruler and a 4B pencil. Okay, so that finishes this lesson. Remember, we're sketching out the drawing using relationships and negative space. and then hatching and cross hatching with hard pencil lead or hard pencil graphite first, and then later adding in layers with the softer graphite like 4B and 6B. Using a white colored pencil for highlights, and then a white ink pen for really bright highlights and reflected highlights. If you have any questions, you can visit my website at www.timgagnon.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.